Chris, did you ever play past the junior varsity level of basketball?
Well, I got asked to leave the varsity team. So, yes, I did play varsity basketball, but I got asked to leave.
And why did you get asked to leave?
Creative differences with the coach.
And what kind of creative differences?
He thought that I was probably a little bit better at football, and they were like, we don't want to risk you getting hurt and taking your time, so we need to get you out to run track and play football. So they said it's probably the best thing for you.
DC ain't even make JVT. I love it.
I 100% did, and I was asked to leave. And, there's a lot of people out there that know why and that can stay. It's not something we need to dig up.
It was fighting was involved, if I'm not mistaken, correct? You beat somebody. Basically, you bullied somebody.
I was a lover, not a fighter, and I have the daughter to prove it, so.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, man? This is your man, Big B. Welcome back to the Big B Daily Show, man. I appreciate everybody being here. We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. What is going on, everybody? Glad everybody is here this morning. Man, great weekend this weekend as far as athletics. Let me turn something on here. These lights didn't come on behind me, man. We gotta get these lights going. But yeah, good weekend as far as basketball, baseball. We got Rasheed Rice situation. We got LSU versus Iowa. The Final Four is set. Man, there's a lot going on. We got to get into all of this. Good morning, everybody. Let's do this thing. Man, first off, again, as always, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily. We appreciate everybody being here. If you guys love and support what we're doing, and you guys like what we're doing, there's several different ways to support the show. Obviously, on TikTok, continue to tap the screen. We need 5,000 likes and at least 30 new follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, give us a follow. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Keep tapping that screen. Also, go ahead and subscribe. Also, click on the link and come on over to YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. We appreciate that, man. You get a lot of different stuff over at YouTube that you do not get on TikTok. And if you're on TikTok or YouTube, we appreciate that too, man. Thank you guys. If you're not subscribed, please do. Let's get into the show. Let's get into it. So first off, the Final Four is set. It is set. UConn against Alabama, Purdue versus NC State. I mean, I don't know that I've seen anything more impressive than that 30-0 run that UConn put on Illinois the other day. That was insane. Game was tied. It was tied late in the first half. You're thinking, okay, this is going to be a pretty good ball game. UConn takes a lead. They're up by 5 at the half, and you're thinking, all right, half is coming. Some adjustments are going to be made. Let's see what Illinois can do. And boom. I mean, they didn't score a point. I think it was the first 8.5 minutes of the second half. Unbelievable. I mean, and just got dominated. Just got dominated. 30-0 run. Game was, and UConn kept getting layups. I don't know if anybody noticed that. They kept getting run out layups and dunks. I'm like, Illinois, what are you doing? Are you even going to try to get back? Are you going to try to defend? Apparently the answer to that is no. And they're just going to let UConn run up and down the court on them. That's what happened. Whew. Goodness gracious. It was a blowout. It was an absolute just demolition. And they didn't even let up. Even when the subs late in the game came in, those guys were trying to score. That's what I respect about UConn so much. They're not going to let you off that hook. And they didn't. And they showed Illinois, you're not in the same class. You're going to try to get up and down and run with us? Okay. Good luck. Whew. Man, it was ugly. It was ugly. But that's what UConn does, man. UConn has been the best team in the country all year. They are proving it right now again. An Elite Eight, you win by that many points. And the game wasn't even that close. It wasn't even that close. I mean, whew, UConn's good. Alabama, there was a lot of North Carolina fans in here on talking a whole lot of trash, and then they went quiet on Friday. They went real quiet on Friday. They were invisible. But, I mean, Alabama then goes out and wins again and gets into the Final Four. For the first time, Alabama gets to the Final Four. I was impressed. I was impressed. I'll give Alabama their due. I will give them their due. I didn't think they were going to be able to make it. They did. Good for them. Good for them. I was happy to see Alabama win that game. Happy to see Alabama win that game. Although, if the plan for Alabama in the Final Four is to run with UConn, which I'm quite sure it is because that's what Alabama does, they're going to get their head beaten in. They are going to get their head beaten in. They got to come up with something else. Because if they're going to just try to run up and down the court and think that that's going to work against UConn, they got another thing coming. They got another thing coming. That's not going to work. So somebody says we haven't seen Bama run and gun like the regular season. Yeah, we have seen them. Maybe you haven't paid attention. That's what Alabama does. They run up and down the court. They don't guard anybody. They didn't guard anybody the other day either. So that's what they do. And yeah, I shouldn't say because I'm not really rooting for anybody. I'll just say this. If Alabama wants to win, they got to come up with something different. Or they got to shoot 50% from three. Now, if you're going to shoot 50% from three, then you got a shot. Then you've got a shot if you're going to get into an up and down game with UConn. You got a shot. But if you're not, it's going to get ugly for you. It's going to get ugly for you. But I do like that matchup. I think it's going to be some good basketball. It'll be good basketball. I think UConn is 10 points better than Alabama, though. I think UConn minus 12. I like it. I'll take it. I'll take it right now. So this is the most defense I've seen Bama play all year. Yeah, they don't play any. Bama they didn't play defense the other night. They didn't play defense the other night. I mean, let me get this out. But yeah, they didn't play defense the other night. You know, Clemson just went into the toilet and then stopped making shots. But yeah, they didn't play defense the other night. So it is what it is. Let's flip to the other side of the bracket. Look, Purdue beat Tennessee. We can say whatever we want about Zach Edey and how he may or may not be a good pro. I actually think he can if they get back to basketball using a big man like they should use a big man. But Zach Edey is unstoppable. He's unstoppable. Now, what can get them beat? The difference is Tennessee didn't have anybody to match up with him. They had nobody to match up with him, and it was a horrible game plan. That Tennessee should have said, you know what, every time you touch the ball, Zach Edey, we're going to double team you and make you get rid of the basketball. Because Purdue guys weren't making any shots. They weren't making any shots. You should have just said, hey, somebody else is going to beat us. But they didn't do that. They let this man score 40 points. Well, okay. What are you doing? What are you doing? And he showed him, hey, if you're going to single cover me, I'm going to kill you. And that's exactly what Zach Edey did. He killed them. And, you know, I guess you live and you die by what brought you there. But at some point, don't you got to make adjustments? That's what been the whole thing about Rick Barnes. Make in-game adjustments, man. Your plan isn't working. Zeddy is eating you alive. Go to something else. Go to a zone. You know, go to a zone. Double team him. Make him pass the basketball. Never did it, and he kept eating. Never did it, and he kept eating. It was insane. It was insane. Like I said, Tennessee didn't have the guys to be able to match up with him. Not that anybody does, because they don't, but you can at least slow him down a little bit. You let the man get 40 and beat you. Especially when other guys on Purdue weren't making any shots. That's the frustrating part, is that guys weren't making any shots. And you didn't make them shoot the ball. It's just, ugh. But that's what people talk about with Rick Barnes. It's just horrible in-game adjustments. He doesn't make any. And it was bad. And they got beat for it. But hats off to Purdue. Hats off to Matt Painter. After getting beat last year by Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round, they're trying to follow that Virginia mold. Be a 1, get beat by a 16, then the next year win it all. They're trying to do it. They got an opportunity. I'm going to love that matchup with NC State and DJ Burns. Now, Burns can't guard Ziti. That's going to be the thing. What is NC State going to do? Because he can't guard him. Now, can Zach Edey guard Burns? I don't know. So we'll be able to see. We'll see. The difference is people underestimate Zach Edey is 7'4". You know, he's not like a 6'10" guy with long arms or a 6'11" guy with long arms. He's 7'4" with long arms. I mean, y'all saw it yesterday. He cut down the net from the rim. He didn't even need a ladder. That's what we're dealing with here. So, and somebody saying Middlebrooks got him on lock. A 6'8" guy? Come on, man. Stop. Stop being silly. Stop being silly. They're going to bring double teams to Ziti. They're going to make those other guys beat them. Or they should. You can't just let Ziti get 4 because he's just proved that he can beat you. If you allow him to beat you, he will. So make him pass the basketball. So, but if you're not going to, it is what it is. I like Edey, but Lord have mercy. Just make him do something else. Tennessee never did that. I love Burns, though. I love the fact that they beat Duke. Somebody tried to tell me that John Shire was a top 5 basketball coach in college basketball. And because they were in the Elite 8, that this was proving it. I'm like, what? How the hell is John Shire a top 5 coach in college basketball? He had a great roster last year, and they sucked. They underachieved. And then they got the blessings of the tournament to get to the Elite 8. And not to mention, they beat Houston. Houston was out there first team All-American, and he was the best player on the court. The guy played 12 minutes in the game. And they still had a chance to beat you. So don't tell me this tough road that Duke had to hoe. They didn't. They beat Vermont and James Madison. Give me a break. And they beat Houston without their best player by 3. So sometimes people will just say anything. I'm like, come on, man. John Shire. I mean, we can think he's a good coach, but whew. It is what it is. I just, Edey, I think they're going to have to double him, make him give it up. That still might not be enough. But the one thing that I think NC State can do is I think they can put enough pressure on the guards because they got the advantage at the guard position over Purdue. But if somehow they don't guard and Purdue's guys get hot, it'll be a blowout. I think they have the advantage, but we'll see. We will see. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting matchup. But we got Edey, and Burns, Middlebrook, Derrera. Don't y'all want to call Derrera diarrhea? Doesn't it look like diarrhea? I'm sure he got that as a kid all the time. And I'm a grown man sitting here making fun of another grown man's name, so that makes me a chump. I get it. But sometimes we got to be chumps. So sometimes we got to be chumps. So I deal with it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to both matchups. I think they're both going to be good games, and that's both those styles. But if I had to pick right now, I would pick Purdue and UConn to meet for the title next Monday night. That's what I would do. If I had to pick, I would pick UConn and I would pick Purdue. So we'll see as the week goes on. We'll see as the week goes on, and we'll see what happens. So going for the underdog, says my man Bill Myers. There's nothing wrong with going for underdogs. I just don't think Alabama is going to guard enough because they don't guard anybody anyway. And, I mean, if they don't watch out, UConn will score 100 on them. That's the thing. UConn will score 100 points on Alabama if they don't watch themselves. And Alabama's not going to score 100 on UConn. So that may be the difference. That might be the difference. So, but we'll see. I want to see the game because I think it's going to be an up and down game. But I think UConn actually plays defense where I know Alabama does not. So let's move on, man. Let's move on. As always, man, we appreciate everybody in here. Again, Big B Daily, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate everybody being in here. TikTok, we're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. TikTok, continue to tap the screen. We got to get to 5,000 likes and at least 30 new follows. So if you're in here, you're not following, please give us a follow. Also, click on the link in my bio. Come on over and subscribe to YouTube. It's Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. Come subscribe. You get access to podcasts, interviews, Hot Soup Fantasy Football, LTB Sports, a lot of things that you do not get on TikTok, you will get on YouTube. And if you ask anybody on YouTube, they'll tell you that the chat is better. So come on over. Also, remember to subscribe if you're on TikTok as well. Same thing on YouTube, subscribe. And again, if you guys appreciate what we're doing and you want to support the show, I encourage you to do so by any means. Like, comment, subscribe, super chats on YouTube, tips on TikTok, whatever you may feel you need to do. We appreciate it all. Moving on, man. So this game tonight, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. I'll be honest, I don't see how Iowa wins. I mean, let's just talk about it. I don't see how Iowa wins. I think they're every position outside of Caitlin Clark. And even then, Caitlin Clark is the best player. She's going to be the best player on the court. Let's just put it that way. But you go to the next 7 people, it's all LSU. It's all LSU. And that doesn't mean that Iowa players are bad. So what are you talking about, B? You said Iowa sucked. No, that's not what I said. I just said Caitlin Clark is the best player on the court. The next 7 people that are going to be on the court, all the best players, all belong to LSU. So that's all I'm saying. It's going to be tough for Iowa to win the game. Doesn't make it impossible. Because if Caitlin Clark gets hot and she's doing her thing and then she has other people that get hot, but if they can keep her under control, like LSU kept her under control last year in the championship game, that's how they beat them. If they can do that again, because the advantage inside and on the wings, they absolutely have. I mean, because here's the thing about Caitlin Clark. She doesn't guard anybody. And we all know that. Okay? And that doesn't mean that she's not great. So all the people that are going to come for me and come unglued, keep your glue together. Keep it molded together. But the bottom line is, I don't see how Iowa wins. Well, I take that back. I do see a way, but I don't think it's very likely to happen. Because I think LSU is just going to eat them up down low. They're just going to dominate them inside. Yeah, I'm just trying to be honest. I like Iowa. I think they got a good team. I just don't think they're going to win. My man Paul Hollinger, what's going on, Paul? Thanks for joining us over here on YouTube. He says LSU is too physical. Exactly. LSU is too physical. So, and I think they're going to make it happen. And we got idiots over here talking about, Iowa's too white down low. I mean, Lord have mercy. Does everybody have to be ignorant? Come on, man. Don't be ignorant. Don't be ignorant. Jeez. But the bottom line is, I think LSU is just better at every position except one. At one. And as much as we may not like Kim Mulkey because she says stupid stuff a lot, the one thing that I do like about her, first off, she defends her players, and I'll never get on her for defending players. Ever, ever, ever. She has her players back. She's going to go to war for them. But she's also the better coach in this situation. So if it comes down to X's and O's, Kim Mulkey's a better basketball coach. So there's that. There's that. So I just think LSU is the more physical team. I think they are the better team. And it's okay to say that. You know, that's not taking anything away from Iowa. That's just saying somebody else is better. People get all bent out of shape about that. It's okay. So it's okay. And then Mike DeRuler is talking about hyping the Reese Clark, which is cool, but I'm ready for Juju Beckers. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all know how I feel about Paige Beckers and Juju. So that might be the better game, people. If we're being honest, that might be the better game. Now, the difference is I think UConn is better than USC. I think the collection of players that UConn has, they're better than USC. So, but, you know, if Juju shot bad last game, she hasn't really had just that breakout. She goes, 13 for 20, 6 3, something like that. She hasn't had that in the tournament. She does that tonight, they're winning that game. They are winning that game. So, will Floje get 20? I don't know. But I know if she keeps Caitlin Clark from getting 30, LSU wins. I know that. So, I do know that. What did my man, Pat Cockrell? Hold on a second. Man, you're missing out, Pat. You're missing out. He says over here, he's over here on YouTube, by the way. Not going to lie, I haven't watched hardly any women's college ball this season, but from what I've seen, it seems like Iowa doesn't have much outside of Clark. So I'll ride with LSU. Nah, they got something. They got something. What Iowa has done, they've surrounded Caitlin Clark with people that can shoot the basketball and really good role players. So it's not like Iowa. People act like Iowa's just garbage. They're not garbage without Caitlin Clark. They're not garbage. Now, are they as good as other teams? No, they're not. But they aren't garbage. So, but all the attention goes to Clark. Those other players, that's how you know they're not garbage. They can take advantage. So, they can take advantage. There's somebody, Abby Marshall, I think that's her name. I went to school with her uncle. And her dad went to the same high school as I did. So he's just older than me. So there's a little ties there. But I'm taking LSU in the game. I'm taking LSU. Somebody says, my man Jesse says, LSU plus one. Hold on. LSU plus 1.5? UConn minus 3.5? Why is Iowa favored in this game? Can somebody explain that to me? Why is Iowa favored in this basketball game? I don't get it. I don't get it. So, it's interesting. But I don't think there's any way that Iowa wins. I don't think. Now, it's not saying that they can't, but I don't think they do. I don't think they're as good. So, I don't think they're as good. So we will see. We will definitely see. I'm very, very interested in these two games tonight, but the Iowa, I love how the new age athlete is coming out and saying, hey, man, we're going to battle on the court. We're going to talk trash. I'm going to get in your face. I'm going to do anything in my power to win this game. But after the game, we can hang out. See, that's different from the old school or people my age, where you had to hate the people that you played with. And I don't think you have to hate them. I don't think you have to hate people now. I know that was back in the day. You had to hate them. Part of you had to hate him is because what happened on the court. Like, people hated Isaiah. Well, that's because Isaiah was an asshole. And what Isaiah was doing. Dirty, little cheap shottish type stuff. That's why people hated Isaiah. If Isaiah would have just went out there and got after people and talked tough, all that kind of stuff, okay, fine. But that's not what Isaiah did. So that's why they despised Isaiah. But I love how you don't have to just hate somebody. You can want to beat them every time you play them. You can want to beat them by 1,000,000. But then after the game, hey, man, let's go have a drink. Let's go grab something to eat. So, yes, I'm Hollis Thomas. How did you guess, Chuck? So, yeah, I think it's weird. Or not weird. I think it's great how the modern athlete has kind of changed that perception a little bit. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, let's move on. I can't wait. I think the games are going to be really good tonight, by the way. I think both of them are going to be really good. Both of them are going to be really good. If you're not doing nothing tonight, you should tune in to women's college basketball. It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good night. Let's move on. All right, people. I've kind of stayed away from this a little bit, but let's dive in. Caleb Williams, is he that guy? Is he going to be that guy? I'm not sure that Caleb Williams is that guy, but is he going to be that guy? I know Bears fans are hoping that he is. I know Bears fans absolutely hope that he is. But then I've seen of course, the weird people out there that hate Caleb Williams. They don't know him, never met him, never going to meet him, but they hate him. They dislike him. And I'm like, why do you dislike him? You don't even know the man. What, did he steal money from you or something? Well, I don't like that he paints his fingernails. How did that hurt you? Who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? If you think it's weird, okay, think it's weird. But if he can throw a football accurately and on time and get it to where it needs to go, would you care if he painted his whole body? I'm guessing not. So who cares? Unless you're just that insecure with yourself. That would be my whole thing. So, my man Wakan says, don't know if he's overrated, but I want to see how he reacts to the speed of the game and the pressure from the defense. Yeah? The problem is everybody says, well, he falls apart under pressure. Yeah, look, the line at USC was horrendous. So him having to play off schedule all the time last year wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. I mean, he couldn't be on time. He couldn't be on schedule. I mean, as soon as you get the ball, if somebody's in your face, that's difficult, man. When you get into your drop and you're having to avoid a rush before you can even make a read, that's tough. I think he can play. Will the Bears do enough to allow him to do that? We'll see. But I think he can play. Or, let me ask this question and throw a little monkey wrench in. Do we even think the Bears are going to take him? Is it just a lot of smoke screens? Are the Bears going to take Jaden Daniels? Drake May? Somebody else? Or is that just all a smoke screen and they're going to take Caleb Williams? I don't know. I think they got to take Caleb Williams. Well, I shouldn't say that. They don't have to. I think they should. Because I was under the impression the Bears should have kept Justin Fields, taken Marvin Harrison number 1, taken a tackle at number 9, and roll with it that way. I thought that's what the Bears should have done. And until the day they traded Justin Fields, I thought that's what they were going to do because You saw the value just dropping and dropping. I'm like, yeah, they're not even trying to trade Fields. Okay. And then they do for a 6th-rounder next year. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see. We will see. I still like them. Let me ask you guys this question. And I got into a big debate this weekend. Now, some people made it racial, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I can't sit here and say that it's not. But isn't J.J. McCarthy like the Zach Wilson of this draft? I mean, all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy, all of a sudden, there's people talking about him being a top 5 pick. J.J. McCarthy. What has he done since the national championship game until now that has proven to be better than what all these other guys put on tape to the end of their seasons? Like, they did the same thing with Zach Wilson. It seems like they do the same thing every year. They pull some quarterback up who they've had some talk, but then all of a sudden they just make this rise up draft boards and this rise up Mel Kiper and used to be Todd McShay and all these people. And next thing you know, they get to a team, they get taken early, and they suck. It happens all the time. And I'm not even saying that what J.J. McCarthy can't be good, because in all actuality, we don't really know, because Michigan ran the ball all the time. And some people say, well, that means J.J. McCarthy couldn't throw it. No, it doesn't. It just means they had an advantage of running the football, and it's a lot less more dangerous to run the football than it is to throw it. You're not putting the ball in harm's way when you run the football. You are when you throw it. They always say there's 3 things that can happen when you throw the ball. 2 of them are bad. Well, if you run it, there's a lot less risk. So, and yet we got people talking about him being a top 5 pick. I don't get it. And then somebody, did Zach Wilson win a national championship? If Zach Wilson played on that Michigan team, he would have won a national championship. So, I mean, if that's what you want to say, did Zach Wilson win a national championship? Well, if Zach Wilson played on that Michigan team, he absolutely would have won a national championship. Oh, by the way, so would me, so would you, so would about 1 million other people. So they didn't win the national championship because J.J. McCarthy was their quarterback. That's not why they won. Now, I'm not saying that McCarthy didn't play well enough. I'm not saying that. But let's not kid ourselves. They didn't just, oh, man, we won the national title because of J.J. McCarthy. No, they didn't. They played outstanding defense, ran the ball down everybody's throat, and got timely throws from a quarterback, which is fine. That's fine. But, McCarthy should not be a top 5 pick. Yeah, I agree. There's a perfect example there, Ali, just like Brock Purdy. So he lost his junior year in the Natty, which, first of all, they didn't make it to the national championship his junior year. So that's one thing. Went back and won it. How is that not a top QB? So that's the definition of a top quarterback, is that your team chokes the year before. And let's call it what it is. They choked, and he was bad in that football game. And then they come back, and they have the best team by far, and they beat everybody. That means you're a top quarterback? Lord have mercy, people. What are we talking about? I mean, what are we doing? Golly, just say you're a Michigan fan or you don't understand what you're watching. That's okay, man. I get it. But let's not be outlandish. Sounds like coaching to me. There you go, Chuck. There you go. Like I said, I like J.J. McCarthy. I think he can be. I don't think we even know what kind of quarterback he can be yet. because he didn't have to do enough in college. That's not a bad thing. It just means we don't know. We just don't know. And are you willing to take that top 5 pick on a guy that you don't know? How many times has that worked out? So I like him. We'll see how it works. I think there's advantages and disadvantages to his game, just like a lot of people. But I see him as a second or third round pick. And that's the whole thing. Just because a guy plays quarterback doesn't mean you have to take him in the first 5 picks. Doesn't even mean you have to take him in the first round. I mean, look at my Steelers. How better off would my Steelers be if they would have taken somebody else with the number 20 pick 2 years ago versus Baby Hands Pickett? You didn't have to take Kenny Pickett there. You didn't. You could have taken an offensive lineman, a corner, something else. Instead, you take Baby Hands Pickett, and there was no reason for him to be drafted that high because he was not a number 20 talent in that draft. I mean, hell, you could say that Kenny Pickett was a third-round talent, but because of the position he played, he got taken way too high, and now he's not even on your football team anymore. So that's my whole point. True. But we'll see. We'll see. Can says, McCarthy reminds me of Dilfer on the Ravens. Just manage the game and don't lose. Yeah, although I will say that McCarthy did make plays when they need him to make them. He just wasn't asked to do it that often. Dilfer wasn't even asked. They just said, don't lose the game. We're not going to ask you to do nothing. Well, McCarthy, they at least asked him to do some things. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I like where this is going. We'll see what happens. Let's move on from here, people. Let's move on. No, Tua did a lot. Somebody's saying that Tua did a lot. Tua absolutely did a lot. Anyway, as I was saying, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily. We're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. TikTok, keep tapping the screen, people. Keep tapping the screen. We need at least 5,000 likes, 30 new follows. So if you're not following and you're in here, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. And go and subscribe to YouTube. Click on the link in the bio and come over and subscribe. We appreciate it, man. 12-team college football format will be so much better. Yeah, it will. It will. Going to 12 teams. They're already going to 14 the next year, 2027? Sheesh. Or 2026, sorry. Like, they're not even waiting. I don't get it. But whatever. I think 12 is the perfect number. I think 14 is stupid. I really do. I think 14 is dumb. Just put in 12. 12 is a great number and let it ride. But they're going to ruin it. Bo Nix will be the best QB in this draft. Not with that arm strength he won't. No, sirree, Bob. I'm out on Bo Nix. And I can be wrong. That's fine. They don't pay me to be right. But I'm out on Bo Nix. So, I'm him and Penix. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know about Penix. I know he's got a super strong arm. But we also saw him throwing to a lot of wide open receivers a lot too. But we'll see. Big B, what are your thoughts on Rashee Rice trouble? I think Rashee Rice is an idiot. I think he's an idiot. And, usually, y'all know me, I am pro player. I am always pro player. But I'm also going to say when somebody does something dumb, I'm going to say they did something dumb. Rashee Rice, stupid. And you're an idiot. And don't tell me somebody argued with me yesterday and said, well, he's not running from the police. Really? The police had to put out that they're looking for you. They have to put out something that say, public statement, they're looking for you. So if you're not running from the police, why aren't you there? Why are they looking for you? I don't get it. Why did you hire an attorney? If you've done nothing wrong, I mean, there's plenty of people that get in car wrecks every day. And you're not going out and hiring an attorney. Whether you're rich, poor, famous, not famous. If I got into a car wreck, the first thought that comes through my mind isn't to leave and then call an attorney. So you can hire an attorney if you did nothing wrong. Nobody's saying that you can't, but it just makes you look guilty. That's all. Nobody said that you can't hire an attorney. Nobody, I mean, this is America. You can do a lot of things as long as it's not breaking the law. But then you left. Why did you leave? Where are you going? What are you running from? And don't give me, this is what the guy tried to tell me yesterday. He was scared. Come on. Come on, man. Stop. Stop. Don't give me that he was scared. He was scared, so he committed a felony. Is that what we're saying? You know what? He got into a car wreck, which is literally not against the law, getting into a wreck. If he was racing, yeah, that's probably against the law. Not probably, that's against the law. But you know what? It is what it is. Fortunately, nobody got seriously hurt. So that's fortunate. But then you compound everything by committing a felony by leaving a hit and run accident. Well, we'll see. We will see. And I know what the person that was arguing with me yesterday was saying. Well, he's not running from the cops. He hasn't been arrested for anything. I go, well, he hadn't been arrested because they're looking for him. He hadn't been charged with anything. I go, they can't charge you until you're arrested. What are we talking about here? How do you charge somebody that's not in custody? I mean, Lord. I mean, I just don't get it. Oh, man. And I don't understand what happened. Like I said, he got into the wreck. He knew he was wrong because he was racing. I get that. But I've said this forever, and I'm going to continue saying this. Where are your boys? Do you not have anybody in your inner circle that has any type of sense? Somebody that says, hey, man, we shouldn't be racing. Okay, if you do race, hey, man, we got in a wreck. No, we can't leave. We got to stay here. What are we doing? What happened to those people? Back in the day, there used to be, we've all heard, hell, look at Ohtani. Ohtani's got a fall guy. Look what happened to Ohtani. He had a fall guy. His interpreter was the fall guy. Everybody knows Ohtani was betting, but he's doing it right. He's doing it right. He's got a fall guy to take the blame, to take the hit. That's what you're there for. Is nobody in that inner circle to take the hit? Can nobody just take the blame for this? Hey, man, we were racing. He was driving. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And I'm not even saying Rashee Rice wouldn't have gotten arrested, because if you're racing, and I know right where it is, I-75 in Dallas, I mean, that's a packed highway anyway, because it's one of the major highways that's not a tollway, so everybody rides on that damn thing. It's right down near Lover's Lane. It's right by the exit before you get off on SMU. It's about 3 exits from downtown Dallas, being right in the middle of downtown Dallas. You shouldn't be going as fast as what they assumed were going anyway, but it is what it is. So, Barry Bonds had a fall guy. Yeah, people have fall guys, man. It is what it is. You not have anybody in your inner circle that can help you. That's what drives me insane. Nobody has anybody within their inner circle that can help them these days. They say, hey, man, no. No, I could see if you were by yourself. Actually, I can't. I mean, if I got that much to lose, I'm by myself. I'm not driving drunk. It's easy for me to say. That's fine. But if I have somebody else, hey, man, you are always driving. No matter what, you're driving. I'm not driving. Because if I go to this club and we turn up, I'm not driving away. You're driving. Always you're driving. I don't know. Panic. I get it. It's a good point. Darren Howard says he panicked. Made it a lot worse for himself. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we just saw Cam Sutton turn himself in after being on the run for weeks. Hell, it came out. He was in the facility, the damn Lions facility, when the warrant for his arrest came out, which means he had already been on the run. And then he goes to work, and they're like, hey, man, you got to turn yourself in. And they waited a day. He didn't turn himself in. The Lions were like, yeah, we got to cut him. We got to cut him. And then, what was it, 3 weeks? People thought the man was dead. And then finally, he turned himself in. Crazy. That's a good point. Michael Vick needed one. Let me ask y'all about Michael Vick. Didn't y'all always think that it was the cousin that was behind it? I always thought that it was the cousin that was behind the dog fighting, that Vic was giving him money, and then the next thing you know, the cousin turned on him and said, nope, it was Vic, and there was nothing he could do because they could probably trace the money that he was giving his cousin. I always thought Vic was an innocent guy. Now, granted, he came out and said, no, I was killing the dogs, which deplorable. I'm a dog owner. I'm a dog lover. Deplorable. But I can forgive. I can forgive. You know, at some point, you got to be able to forgive somebody for something, depending on what it is. Depending on what it is. So, SB Kenny, stop it. I know where you're going with it. Don't you even do it. Don't you do it. Look, SB Kenny over here on TikTok said he's a cat guy. Stop. Don't even start. Don't even start. Man, y'all, my day was going. Matter of fact, that makes my day better, though, because that's hilarious, by the way. That is absolutely hilarious. Woo. Darren Howard brings up a good point over here on YouTube, people. I think most young people have raced at some point. Yes, I think we all have. Just don't compound it. When you finally know better, you do better. Can't run, though. He's getting suspended. He's getting suspended. Now they got pictures of people walking away from the wreck. Like, hit and run. Like, apparently, now this is just reports. I don't know if any of this is true. Saying that they were loading up drugs and guns from the car, which I think that is BS. But there's pictures of these people just walking away. Like, they're not running to get away from anything. They're just, okay, we got in this wreck. We're just leaving the car, and we are just walking away. So, whew. And no, I don't think Rashee Rice is going to get cut. I don't think Rashee Rice is going to get cut. They're not going to cut him, you know, if he turns himself in today. Now, we got to see things start to unfold here and see what's happening. Because he's a person of interest. I've heard reports, too, he was driving the Lamborghini. First of all, it wasn't just a regular, it was a Lamborghini Urus. So it was an SUV. People thinking, oh, man, 4 people getting out of an SUV or a Lamborghini. How's that possible? It was an SUV. That's how. And yes, by the way, anybody thinking, well, it's an SUV. Does it go that fast? Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, but they're not going to cut him, though. They're not going to cut him. There's no reason to cut him at this point. There's no reason to cut him. He got into a wreck, you know, and now he's evading police so far. Again, they haven't issued a warrant for his arrest, but they very well might by the end of the day. But they haven't done that yet. Now he's just a person of interest. We need to know where you are. We need to talk to you because your car is wrecked on the side of or 75. What the hell's going on? We need answers. We need answers. If things don't change, they may then issue a warrant for his arrest. If it gets to that and then he still doesn't turn himself in, yeah, then the Chiefs may think about, you know what? This guy's an idiot. We got to get him out of here. So you're correct. You're correct. But it's not there yet. It's not there yet. So we'll see. And I don't think he's going to get any jail time. I mean, hell, look, people, I've said this before and I'll say it again. There have been people that have been drunk that have killed a person, driving drunk, that still were allowed to play in the National Football League. Now, you can say that happened years ago. I don't care. It happened. We have seen people beat up women that have gotten back into the National Football League. We have seen people do things much worse than racing and getting into a wreck that have gotten back in the National Football League. We've seen it. So he's not going to get suspended forever. He's not going to be banished from the NFL again, unless something else is going on that we don't know about. So unless something else is going on, will he get suspended? Probably, especially if he was driving. And actually, I take that back. I don't think there's any way around him not getting suspended, even if he was just a passenger in the car. I don't see there being any way around him being or not being suspended. Now, it's not going to be half the season or anything like that, but maybe 2 games. I can see that. But things got to start unfolding here for the young man quickly. He's got to start getting some better people around him. That would be number one. His mama, if she's around, has got to get involved and say, son, what the hell are you doing? This is your opportunity. You're blowing it. Racing, you got to stop. So, got to stop. Cat's name in Vegas, Henry Ruggs. That was different. Henry Ruggs went to jail. Other guys didn't go to jail. Henry Ruggs went to jail. And because of what he did, he was speeding in a neighborhood. I mean, you can't be going 150 miles an hour in a damn neighborhood. And he went to jail. The other guys didn't go to jail. I mean, he went to prison. The other guys didn't do that. They didn't go to prison. And there is a huge difference. So that's different. That's different. Not to mention, he's going to prison for 11 years. By the time he gets out, his career would have been over anyway. So there's that. In prison, I mean, and Ruggs is in prison. I mean, 11 years. Some people think it should be longer, but that's how long he's going for. So, happy Mondays. In my opinion, leaving the scene is just a major, major red flag. Yeah, I think it is too. Because again, you panicked, but why are you panicking? Some people say, well, maybe he was drunk, maybe he was high, and now he's panicked. And he had to wait for all that to wear off before he turned himself or talked to anybody. That could be the case too. That could be the case too. I don't like it. I don't think anybody has to like it, but just I don't want to hear the defense about it. I'm not here for any of that. That's just stupid talk to me. So the NFL does not wait for due process. Yeah, in some cases, actually in most cases, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They always say let the legal process pan out, depending on what it is. I mean, if somebody killed a guy, then yeah, no, they're not going to wait for due process. But in most instances, the NFL absolutely waits for due process. They absolutely do. Now, your NFL team may cut you. That's different than being banned from the league or suspended from the league. That's totally different. So, and Chiefs cut Kareem Hunt. So, and they might hold Rasheed Rashee Rice accountable. But the situations were different. First of all, let's not kid ourselves. The Chiefs didn't do anything to Kareem Hunt until the video came out. Let's start there. Let's not hold the Chiefs to some holy water and say that they were holier than thou. They didn't do anything until the video came out. Same thing. Somebody said Ray Rice. Same thing. They didn't do anything until the video. Matter of fact, the NFL said, what, they suspend Ray Rice for a game or something like that? All of a sudden, the video comes out, banned from the league. Kareem Hunt, same thing. They did nothing. And don't tell me that the Chiefs couldn't have got their hands on that video if they wanted it. They absolutely could. And so could the NFL. All of a sudden, it comes out, they cut him. Don't give me that. I don't want to hear it. If there was no video at all, Kareem Hunt might still be in Kansas City today. Yeah, of course Kareem Hunt lied about it. So, what difference does that make? He lied. And what, the Chiefs don't have people to go ask questions? Hey, you got a video? You got cameras in here? You do. Good. Here's $5,000. We need to see it. $10,000. Perfect. Kareem, can you come in here for a second? Tell us again what you did? Nothing. Well, here's a video saying that you did do something. You're cut. Boom. Chiefs did none of that until the video became public. Stop it. Stop it. They weren't going to do anything until it became public. They weren't going to do anything until it became public. That's my only point. And look, I'll even say this. I'll go this far. Look, I know never put your hands on a woman. Never put your hands on a woman. The woman calls you the N-word, just go back in your apartment, because that's where he was. Just go back in there. But then she spit on him. Now, I'm not condoning hitting a woman at all, because you should never do that. Ever, ever, ever. But I can see you, especially when you're drunk, I can see how it happened. If somebody spits on me. Hell, I was at the gas station the other day, and a man was spitting on the ground, and it flew close to where I was at. And I said, hey, man, pay attention to what you're doing. And he must have understood, because he just said, sorry. Sorry. So I get it. I can see how it happened. I don't condone it, and he should have never done it. Shouldn't have been in that situation. Again, where the hell are your boys? Where the hell are your boys? So I get that. Either way, hopefully Rashee Rice does the right thing, goes and talks to the police, gets it all figured out. He's probably going to get arrested. I mean, that's probably a given. He's going to get arrested. But don't wait and be silly and then have them issue arrest warrants and make it worse for yourself. It doesn't have to come to that. It really doesn't. And whoever his representation is needs to tell him, hey, look, we got to get out in front of this thing. They're going to arrest you. We got to go talk to them. It is what it is. It is what it is. And it doesn't matter if he was driving or if he wasn't driving. I mean, I think he gets in less trouble if he wasn't driving. You know, and you're a passenger and you leave. So I think he gets in less trouble. And if that is the case, and then he turns around and doesn't want to rat on his boy because, hey, he's my boy, I'm not ratting. Yeah, then he's dumber than what we all think. And his boy doesn't really give a damn about him either in his future. That would be my thing. So that's right. The longer he hides, the worse it's going to be. So, well, I appreciate everybody. We're going to shut this one down for today, man. I appreciate everybody showing up today. Thank you guys again. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily Show, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Anybody that's on TikTok, if you're not following, please do. Then go ahead and click the link in the bio and come on over and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. And again, as always, if you appreciate what we do, like what we do, and you want to support the channel, there's a plethora of ways that you can. Starting on TikTok, you can always subscribe, which I encourage you to do. There's also a tip jar. Like, follow, share the live, pass the information around to as many people as possible. And if you're on YouTube, there's always super chat. You kind of control the conversation. So anything that you choose to do, we appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Good basketball tonight. Good basketball. The women are going to be out there. It's going to be really good basketball. Y'all need to pay attention. You know, I know we're caught up in LSU versus Iowa, but Juju and Paige Beckers might just be better. It might just be better. Until tomorrow, aloha.